what is shit. Got my fucking stomach in, never eat a fucking again. Better pray for all my sin, I don't feel no pain again. Fucking quit, got my fucking stomach in, I don't need a fucking again. Suffer now for all my sin, never feel no pain again. If I'm what I eat, then I must be nothing. If I'm what I eat, then I must be nothing. If I'm what I eat, then I must be nothing. If I'm what I eat, then I must be nothing.
Waking up like I ain't broke. All I need to fucking smoke. While I fucking walk, drink another fucking coke. Food just make me wanna choke. Got my stomach all like smoke. No, that's not a fucking joke. Clear my plate, I'd rather croak. Extra shit like a bad plot. Mentally all I do is rot. Feels like I've been fucking shot. Fuck this love, I only set my lot. Why so fat? Why so fat? You so ugly, got no tats. Why so fat? Why so fat?
Now you fit just like a mat.
If I'm what I eat, then I must be nothing. If I'm what I eat, then I must be nothing. If I'm what I eat, then I must be nothing. If I'm what I eat, then I must be nothing.
Feel so nauseous, I can't eat. All I want's to fucking sleep. Caught it out, that's not a leap. I won't, so I'd rather weep. Fuck this shit, I don't know why. Makes me wanna fucking die. All I do is fucking cry. You won't see me eye to eye. I ain't hungry, eat no steak. Want no bake for your cake. Fuck them bitches, they all fake.
They just judge them on a snake.
Bile in my throat when I see a fucking note. I don't want to fucking choke. All I need's an antidote. When I die, so she wrote. If I'm what I eat, then I must be nothing. If I'm what I eat, then I must be nothing. If I'm what I eat, then I must be nothing. If I'm what I eat, then I must be nothing.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Let's fix this. There we go. Welcome, everybody. What up? This is, we're back. We're back with another interview. So, all right, let's get into it. No preamble. All right, let's jump into this. So, guys, as y'all know, last time I interviewed Taylor Kirk, wife of Scotty Kirk, one of the members of DFF, former hosts of the Drunken Peasants, who told us a lot of stories. Told us a very detailed and disturbing story about Benpai, the current host of the Drunken Peasants, and some of the things that he put her through, including the fact that Ben pretty much came on to her pretty quickly as a public figure, kind of used his influence as a host of the Drunken Peasants to, do this with a lot of women, get women out of his audiences, get them into DMs, start, get them to meet. And Taylor was one of these people. And she told us about how the first trip meeting Ben, how he was very weird. He wouldn't let her talk to the other hosts. She saw a lot of red flags leading up to this, and then one of the first nights she was there, he got her to drink a lot and smoke weed, even though she didn't want to. And she hadn't been very experienced in these things. He kind of pushed her and, come on, do it. And in the end, I believe she told us she had maybe like 2, maybe 3 drinks of wine, but she blacked out. Last thing she remembered was being dragged to a hotel room by Ben. And When she woke up, it was clear she had they had sex. It was clear that Ben had kind of like just played it off as if like, oh yeah, we were both crazy drunk that night, but it was clear Taylor felt odd about it, and as time went on, she's felt worse and worse about it, and the whole situation, the way Ben treated her afterwards, the way Ben was super distant towards her, the way Ben would only talk to her on certain times, never on the weekends, and was only talk about himself, was very whiny. Just it sounded like a very toxic relationship that once it that seemed to have ended in part due to her meeting Scotty, who was a perfect gentleman, a wonderful from what Taylor says, a wonderful dude who treated her with kindness and respect and made her feel loved, which Ben didn't really do. And in the end, Ben found out that they were friends, was not happy, told them they weren't allowed to, or dissuaded them from continuing to talk to each other. But in the end, Scotty revealed to Taylor that Ben had actually been dating other women at the time, and he said that he had feelings for her and that she should know about what Ben was doing to her. And she kind of broke it off with Ben. He was very horrible to her. He wouldn't stop calling her and messaging her and driving her crazy and using manipulation tactics. So it's not a good situation, all right? And so afterwards, Taylor was kind of just forced to keep quiet for a number of reasons. And I want to say this, because I've seen a lot of talk about, oh, well, how come the other guys from DFF haven't come forward yet? How come TJ, Paul, and Scotty aren't talking about this? Well, there's a couple reasons they're not talking about this. The first reason is that they didn't really even know about Ben's sexual abuse. They knew that he cheated, from what it sounds like from Taylor's story. They knew that, he was screwing around with multiple women, but I don't think they knew how manipulative and toxic he was. I don't think they knew the way that he, would pile them with alcohol and drugs and coerce them into bed and do a bunch of, coerce them into giving nude pictures and shit like that and all kinds of stuff like that. Like, I don't think they realized the extent of any of it, and I definitely don't think they realized that Taylor was possibly roofied along with other women. Because I'm sorry, 3 glasses of wine, two maybe 3 glasses of wine doesn't make you blackout. Not even if you've had a little bit of weed, okay? That doesn't make you fucking blackout. I don't know what he could have put in her drink. I don't know that he did, but I think it sounds pretty damn suspicious. If you guys want the full context of her story, you can go back to my last stream, Benpai Exposed, interview with Taylor Kirk. But today, we're here to talk about the next victim, or another victim, actually, a victim of Ben who tried to come out years ago and was had a very, very difficult time. She's going to tell us about that. Amina, welcome. Are you there? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, I was just clearing my throat.
No problem. Yeah, you gotta clear that throat, yo. Yeah, you gotta be able to be
Some water next to me.
gotta be able to
wanted
speak
start
well,
off
yeah.
by saying thank you, Jamie. I told you this before, but I really do appreciate you doing this. Thank you, Taylor. You gave me the strength to go on here today. I kind of cycled back and forth on whether I wanted to even be involved with this anymore, just because the reaction I got last time. I tried to come out about this, but I really appreciate you being so brave
I
to
completely
come out about
understand, and it's
this, and I appreciate everybody too. So thank you.
absolutely. And I want to let you know this is a safe place. The chat is open, but if people are gonna be trolls, people are gonna be dicks. My mods know what to do because we're here to listen to Amina's story. If you have thoughts about it afterwards, honestly, if people have like if people are just gonna fucking come to their conclusions before hearing the whole story, then I ask you to comment afterwards and not in the chat because this is very hard. This is very hard for someone who's gone through any kind of abuse, even just emotional abuse. Like for me, like I've talked about some shit that I've gone through in the past, and it's been hard. It's not easy to come forward and talk about this shit, especially when you're not used to having a platform like this and talking talking to this many people at once. So everyone's in the chat's understanding of you, Amina. So you don't gotta worry. You got this, all right?
Thank you. I just wanted to also say, I have Asperger's, so sorry if I'm kind of awkward at times.
No, it's absolutely fine. I'm a bit socially awkward myself sometimes, so we're cool. We're cool. All right.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. All right. So let's do you want to start with the first question?
Yeah, so how
All
did
right.
I hear
Yes.
of Ben?
Yes. How'd you first hear of Ben?
So I got really into like the skeptic. I've always been like someone online. I've always just retreated into like online communities.
Mm-hmm.
I loved YouTube. I was on YouTube like when it first started. I was a big fan of Dark Matter 2525. I don't know if
Yeah,
either
he's
of you
dope.
know him. Yeah, I loved him when I was younger, and I found The Amazing Atheist, TJ from him, and I just became like a fan in like middle school, high school. So I kind of started watching DP like at the end of me being in high school, but I never really watched it. But when I lived in Japan, I I was just kind of isolated. It just gave me something to do. It was
Right.
just fun to listen to, and I got back into DP again.
Okay. Um. So that was your first hearing of Ben. What attracted you to his content or to DP in general?
It's really like the long form content. It was entertaining. I could listen to it at the nail salon.
Right.
I could listen to it on the train. It was just fun to listen to.
Yeah, it definitely was that. I do remember spending my fair share of time at work or whatever, like listening to some DP. Um, so when you first met Ben, did he contact you first or did you reach out to him?
Oh no, he contacted me first. So long story short, I was a idol, minor idol in Japan, but I had some following on social media. I had maybe 15,000 followers then. So I followed the Drunken Peasants like official Twitter account. And I think if you have like so many followers, it tells the person like that you follow them or something. But uh he immediately just followed me back. And I got this message and it was like, "Hi, thanks for supporting the show." And I thought it was like an automatic thing or something. I
Right.
was like, what? Like, did they just send this to everybody who, like, just follows them? So, um, so I was like, who is this? Like, I thought it might be Scotty or something. Like, I didn't know who it was. And he was like, oh, this is Ben. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, I listened to your podcast. And I didn't think of him like romantically or anything then. He didn't even show his face on the show then. I was just kind of confused, like why he was messaging me. I thought he was just like doing outreach to promote the show, maybe
Right.
like promotion. And I just asked him if I could, if he could connect me with Ashley, who is Paul's former partner, girlfriend, because she seemed really cool and I had like followed her on Twitter for a while. And so he got me in touch with her. Um, I guess he's kind of, he doesn't let people talk to other people now. It's just what I heard from other people,
Right.
but he connected me with her. I think maybe because I don't know, I can talk about that more later, but he connected me to Ashley and then he just started having like this sob story. Like I felt really bad for him because he told me about this girlfriend that he had, an ex-girlfriend. I'll just call her Rachel for the show.
Okay.
And he told me he met her when a few years ago, and she was 18 or 19. She was a fan of the show, and he moved the entire show to Seattle from Ohio to be close with her. This is what he told me. And he
Hmm.
said that she cheated on him. He said that she emotionally abused him. He said that she gave him a suicide threat, that he was traumatized by her, that he would never be able to get over it, that he was just this wounded person. And I felt so bad for him. Um, I felt so bad for him. He was sending me screenshots that he had with her. I thought it was really strange at the time because people don't usually like talk about their exes if they're trying to like flirt with somebody.
Right.
But I just figured he needed a shoulder to cry on.
Right.
So I was like in a I wasn't in the best place in my life then too. I mean, it's not like he knew that, but I wasn't in the best place in my life too. I think if I were in a better headspace, I probably wouldn't have even like entertained it.
Right.
But I just let my guard down with him. He just seemed so hurt, so wounded. He kept saying he felt ugly, he felt unloved, but he kept sending like selfies to me. And then I guess also another reason I felt close with him was because he's Midwesterner. I'm from Michigan. Sorry, I'm laughing, but you know he always says stuff about Michigan, and
Right.
he's from Ohio, so it was just like somebody I knew back home. You know, I was far away from home
Right.
in this really stressful environment, and he just seemed familiar.
Right. I can understand that. Like, especially like you got someone who's like you definitely have some things in common with him. Did any of it have to do with the fact that he was like did you feel more drawn to him because he was also famous online?
Felt I felt special.
Right.
I felt special because I had listened to them for so long and I felt like I knew him. The whole thing, you know, with parasocial
Right.
relationships and stuff.
Absolutely.
I just felt like I could trust him a lot quicker. Yeah, I just felt like, wow, he is this YouTuber and he's giving me special attention.
Right. And
He's
the
nice to me. He was talking to me a lot then too. But sorry, go on.
No, no, I was just gonna say, and then the fact that he came to you with these complaints, these stories, this like, oh my God, this is what's happening, like if it he was confiding in you, and that probably also made you feel special.
Let me put my guard down, and I definitely felt like I told him things I probably wouldn't have said so quickly, like just about my own trauma or something,
Right.
because I felt like he, let his guard down. And again, when he first messaged me, I didn't really see him as like a romantic prospect at all, but I mean, okay, I shouldn't generalize women, but I guess I'm gonna do that right now. I think some women we can be attracted to like kind of the mysterious, sad man that just needs you to
Right.
change them to help them. So I think it was a bit of that too.
Right. There's definitely some like weird dynamics going on. Um, so did he ever so at what point was the relationship made official, or was it made official?
So within like 2 or 3 weeks of us talking on Twitter, this is from the official account. He said, "You should be my girlfriend," or like, "Would you be my girlfriend? I'd love for you to be my girlfriend." Um, I thought it was kind of strange, and I know this is gonna sound funny. I'm not trying to be facetious, but I asked him if he was like a virgin or something, because I'm like, you're like in your late 30s and we just only started talking and you're asking me to be your girlfriend. I was like, maybe he's not like that experienced or something.
Yeah, that's
I
kind of
was,
weird. That
yeah, so I was just like, what? But I was flattered, of course.
right.
And I
Cause
thought he was like trying to be serious about me.
right, exactly. Um, so hmm.
Oh,
Ha-
but I have something else to say about this
oh, of
period
course.
too.
Yeah.
So that was when he basically moved the conversation to Facebook Messenger.
Hmm.
And because I thought he was going to be serious or something, or I don't know, I told him that I had done sex work off and on, which is not necessarily full service. There's various types of sex work and there's various types
Right.
that I've done. I told him that because I said if I'm going to be in a relationship with somebody and, you know, really open up to them, I want them to know this part of me. And it was out of survival. I'm never, I'm not gonna apologize for things I had to do to survive. I was incredibly young when I did
Right.
it, and I wanted to stop. It was an off and on thing, but I told him because I wanted us to be transparent, and he said it was totally fine. He said that he accepted me. He said that he was really understanding. He said that he had seen sex workers multiple times before. Um, and the reason why this is kind of relevant is because when I did the Reddit post, which I'll get to later, he immediately told like a group of people that I had lied about this for some strange reason. And then I just showed the evidence, the proof, the screenshot that he knew about this and he said it was fine. And this wasn't necessarily something I was doing at the time when I was talking to him.
Yeah.
Sorry, but go on.
Yeah. No, it's that's really fucked up that he would lie about that, especially after you were so honest. And it's because it's good to be honest, and it's commendable that you came out. You didn't feel the need to like hide that from him, and it's kind of fucked that he would like betray that honesty that you gave him. Um, okay, so I guess the next question would be: was there anything he asked you to do that made you feel uncomfortable?
He talked pretty graphically, sexually, quite quickly. Um, so at the
How quickly within meeting
time,
him?
maybe like a week with a few days, a week, no more than 3 weeks of just chatting on Twitter.
And he was the
Um,
one to instigate it, correct?
yes,
Okay.
he would tell me like when he got drunk, he got really horny, and he would just talk about being drunk all the time and just like he would send me like shirtless pictures and say like, "Oh, I was drinking," or something like that. Um, that made me feel, I mean, okay, the part where he was talking sexually to me, I kind of like I don't think I like sexted him, but I kind of like I flirted with him a little,
Right.
but I still felt kind of weird, and it was obvious from my message. Like, it was kind of weird. At the time, I had done like a gravure, which is like I did like bikini modeling too in
Right.
Japan, which was on my Twitter. So maybe he thought because of that I would just be like, I don't know,
He
just
thought that because,
down.
yeah, because you've done things like that before, that, oh, of course you're open enough that you're just gonna send him like pictures and flirt with him if he asks. Did he ask you to send him pictures?
I don't remember him asking me to, so I'm not gonna say he did, but I don't remember him asking me to.
I could have sworn there was something when you originally wrote out your answers about that, but maybe I was wrong. Um,
I mean, he might have, but I don't remember him.
okay.
I think I might have sent them, but I don't remember being like pressured into it.
Okay. Um, when did you first meet up with him in person?
Okay. Um, so he talked about meeting pretty quickly, which was surprising again to me. Um, I was really just shocked. I felt uncomfortable with the prospects of it, but I also just kind of ignored like my intuition. I was like, I should just do it, you know. I should meet him because I'd been talking to him for a bit, or like not for a bit, for like maybe 2 months. And I was already going back home for Christmas for like a while, so it wasn't like I was coming from Japan to see him. So I was like, okay, like, you know, I'll do it. I'll meet him. But I just felt kind of surprised and he asked me so quick, but I asked him if I could stay at his place because he was like so keen on like wanting to meet me. I I guess it's kind of weird that I asked to stay at his place, but if he's want to be with me, then it seems like it would be normal to
Right.
me, but he just said he had a stalker, a crazy stalker who came to his house, and he said that he didn't want her bothering me, which I know now was
That's
just a weird lie.
Yeah, that's a really lame excuse. Uh, he told Taylor something about like a dog. He's like, "Oh, I have a dog that pees in the house, and my house is dirty." Like, what are these lame ass excuses? Okay. Um,
Um, but actually though, so before I met with him, I like a few people actually contacted me. Um, One was someone close to the staff of the not the staff, the cast of the show.
right.
I won't say that person's name because they didn't tell me to. And another was a female guest actually who told me that he made her very uncomfortable. Just to like watch out. She didn't say anything like specific, but she was just like, you know, like he's just be careful with him.
Right.
And the person who contacted about me contacted me who was like close to the cast. They basically said that he was married and he had seen his supposed ex Rachel on Thanksgiving and that he was just like like just a serial liar and that he was just all these things and I wanted to believe these people. I wanted to believe them, but I told Ben and he did a video chat with me for like hours long. And I'd say like, "So, are you married?" He's like, "There's nobody here." He never said like no. It was really strange now that I look back on it, but I figured because he was video chatting in his house, there was nobody else around, and we had talked on the phone a few times. I just thought like, okay, he maybe he's telling the truth. He told me that the person who was close to the cast was just jealous of him, that they were hateful, don't believe them, they're trying to ruin his life. And then I was saying I don't know if I should come to Seattle then. And Ryby Jenkins, who was a guest on the show, messaged me and she was like, "Oh, don't be mad at Ben. He really likes you. Don't be mad at him." And was just trying to like influence me. Like, I think he might have told her, like, "Oh, Ami's mad at me. Can you talk to her?" But it was kind of weird.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. You have a fight with him, and then suddenly some other woman comes to you and like is trying to make you feel better about him, trying to like what? Why is she even getting involved? Um, do you think he sent her to you?
Oh, yeah, I don't really doubt it. I think he's very clever, actually, on how he gets people to do things for
Yeah.
him. But I think, yeah, um, yeah, he's incredibly emotionally, abusive. I felt crazy when I was on the phone talking to him because my logic mind was like, why would they lie about this? Like, why would they just tell me this? But he just really made me feel crazy and that I was just so wrong for even asking him something like that. And he really wanted to see me and he wanted to know he can trust me. And yeah.
So he got mad at you for asking him about these things that you were told, and made you feel like you were the basically the piece of shit for bringing it up.
Yeah, like he'll go into like his sad, depressed mode, which he kind of did a lot. Like I shouldn't have even asked him that. Like I was the person in the wrong for
Yeah, do you want to like
asking that.
describe like his sad, depressed mode? Because I've heard other people allude to this before. Like, what was that like specifically? I think Taylor kind of
Um,
touched on it as well, but like, yeah, what was it like for you?
I think people kind of think that he's just like I think some people like have just accepted that he's maybe just like a serial cheater, but they think he's just a playboy or boys will be boys or something like that, or he's just an F boy or something like that. But it's a lot worse than that. He's incredibly emotionally abusive. He will message you sad faces. He will um just talk about how depressed he is. Like, oh, he says he's a horrible person. He just can't stop being, he's sad because he keeps hurting people. He'll send like sad selfies of himself, like looking sad. Um, I showed you this, but this is kind of, I shouldn't say a funny coincidence, but it's a very telling thing. He sent me one time, I'll talk about this more kind of later, just as it goes on in the story. But one time, I wasn't talking to him for a while, and he just randomly sent me a picture of him as a baby. And from what I've did some reading about emotional abuse later. This is something that people do. They'll send a picture of you two like happy together. They'll send just something to reel you back in so you see them as like innocent.
Yeah,
And
something.
he actually did that
Yeah.
last night on the Drunken Peasants Twitter.
Yeah, it's something to make you see him as vulnerable instead of the because like maybe in the moment you're viewing him as a monster, but it's like, hey, I'm not a monster. Look at me. Here's me when I was cute and sweet or whatever. Yeah, that's very manipulative, and yeah, I will pull this up just because this is kind of weird. He posted this last night. He posted a picture of him as a child and as him dressed in trap. And then yeah, yes, trap is a slur. I apologize. Him in dressed as a woman. Um, and then he deleted it a few hours later, which was kind of weird. I don't know what the deal is there. Yeah, the one he deleted. This is kind of fucking weird. And yeah, you said he sent you pictures like that before as well, and so it's kind of like it's a weird thing. That's a really weird thing.
Only when I wasn't talking to him. It wasn't like we were like, "Oh, what did you look like as a baby? I bet you were a cute
Right.
baby." It was when I didn't talk to him for days. He just sent me a picture. I'm trying not to laugh, but it's so ridiculous. He
That
sent me a picture of him at like 2 years old or something. Like, why?
Yeah, it really is ridiculous, and it almost wonders. It almost makes me wonder if it's something that he does when he feels like maybe cornered, because I mean he hasn't streamed for a few days now, and suddenly he's like posting shit like that weirdly on Twitter and deleting. I don't really weird behavior. Very strange. Okay, so I guess we can move on here. So wait, did you not meet up with him in person?
I did.
What?
I did.
Oh, you did. So because you were describing, sorry, I might have gotten a little sidetracked. Did we so last you said you were saying that he was manipulating you because you didn't want to go to Seattle because of these rumors.
Yeah,
Did
but
you end up going?
he really like was like, I still want to see you. I want to see you. And I mean, I'll be honest, I kind of wanted to meet him because we had been talking, and I believed what he said because he just said that they were jealous, they were trying to ruin his life.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, if he can video chat with me in his house, then he must not be married.
Right.
So I ended up going. I stayed with a friend of mine from college that I knew. Um, yeah, so I met him in person.
Okay. And what was that like?
So he, so I was staying with my friend, like I said, and she actually lived close to the DP studio and where he lived. I didn't know that at the time, but I stayed with her. She had really bad Tourette's, so that made it, I mean, bless her. I don't have anything wrong with that. I know it's like really hard for people who have that,
It
but
is.
it made it kind of like hard to sleep, and then she had roommates that were guys that I kind of felt uncomfortable about. But anyway, that was on New Year's Eve, and again, there was no wife then. There was no woman with him that he had to report back to. So I was like, okay, yeah, maybe he really isn't married, like he said, or maybe it's just, I don't know, a rumor or something. So he drove me to the DP studio immediately when he picked me up, and he seemed a bit different in person. I know everybody takes like nice selfies and stuff
Right.
online, but
Obviously.
he, yeah, like I do, everybody does it. It's not bad. But I just noticed, like, I felt like I noticed, like, the age difference, like, a lot more than I was 19 when we first started talking, and then I'd, like, just turned 20 when I was there. So I felt uncomfortable. And then the second he took me to the studio, I felt like I just made a mistake even going there, being alone with him. I was just thinking, like, nobody has really seen me with him, so he could, you know, I was just thinking like it wasn't a smart decision
Right.
on my mind, but I was there, and even before I went on the trip, I kind of told myself like, okay, I'll go, but I won't have sex with him. Um, I just kind of thought in my mind, like, okay, I'll meet him, and if it's right, then I'll do it next time or something. But like within 5 to 10 minutes of me getting into the studio, he gave me weed, which I had never done before. He gave me a little bit like to drink. I was really nervous. Um, I don't know if anybody's been like in the DP, probably not. They haven't been in the DP studio, but there's like computer monitors and there's a couch that you can flip out to like become a bed, a futon. And the computer monitors, they normally would face the chairs where the host would sit, but they were facing the couch for some reason. And they all had like the Drunken Peasants logo on it. And I thought it was kind of weird. Like, I don't know, it just felt kind of creepy. Like he was like something, I don't know, it just felt off. I just became really quiet and he like started to onto me and he kind of saw that I went into a shell and he said, "Please don't accuse me of rape later on. Like, don't accuse me of raping you later on." And at that time, I felt uncomfortable, but I was like, oh, maybe he's like asking for consent. But now that I look back on it and I have more experiences, at that time I hadn't really been with like many men. I had only one boyfriend before then that was in Japan, only spoke Japanese to him, kind of like a little bit of a cultural difference. So I didn't know what was normal. So I
Right.
kind of just thought like, okay, like this is I should just be okay with this. And yeah, we had sex then, and then we went to dinner. Um, I told him at dinner, like I told Ryby, I was like, oh, I texted Ryby that we met up finally, and he was like, what? Why did you tell her that? Like, he was mad that I did that, which I didn't really understand. Um, that I told Ryby because I thought I don't know, it was kind of weird that night. I guess. So it was New Year's Eve. So he went to go get alcohol. I had to stay in the car because I had just turned 20 then. And then he went to go get weed from the weed store. Again, I had to stay in the car. And he was saying, like, oh, that guy at the weed store is like a big fan of the show. He gave us some free stuff, which is kind of weird now because I know Taylor said he said something similar, but
Yeah, that is kind of
yeah, I don't
weird.
know.
Why is he always saying that like someone gave him some free weed? Yeah, that's weird. Is it maybe it's just a brag to be like, "Oh, like
I
I'm
think
so
maybe bragging.
yeah, I don't know." But okay, I'm sorry. Go on.
Um, no, it's fine. Um, so yeah, I wasn't like a big drinker, like I said. I wasn't the legal age to drink, so I only drank very occasionally. I never did weed before I met him. I was interested in trying a bit, but not necessarily like so quick and so much. He carried like a vape pen like everywhere and was always like offering me to take more and more. And that night, um, you know, I'm I was like less than like 115 pounds then and way younger than him. There's no way like I could keep up. I didn't even try to um drink a lot, but there's no way I could like handle like so much. But yeah, so it was New Year's Eve night and yeah, I remember taking a little bit of the weed, smoking a little bit, and then he made my drink. Um, and then I remember him
He made the drink
turning.
himself. Did you watch him make it?
No, I didn't watch him make
Okay.
it. I just trusted him. Um, yeah, he turned on pro wrestling,
Really
which
weird.
I don't know why I remember that, but he turned on pro wrestling, which is like the last thing I kind of remember. Like he was starting to like have sex with me, and I just don't really. It's kind of
Did
a
you
blur.
did you black out?
I don't remember like falling asleep. I just remember I must have blacked out. Like I remember like the sex kind of starting, but it just I wasn't like all there, if that makes sense.
Right.
I
You
just woke up that morning and I just started sobbing straight away.
I'm so sorry. Did you how did you so you felt negatively about it then when you woke up?
I don't even it was just weird. Like I just yeah, I just
What were your
didn't even it was
thoughts?
just I just felt like I didn't know what was going on. Like I was just kind of not just confused, but I was just I guess just overwhelmed is the way to put it. Like I couldn't really put my place on it, but I felt
Did you feel like you had been assaulted?
um I didn't feel like I was in my right mind that night to I mean, I know we had yeah, I didn't feel I don't know, um he just told me it was like a reaction to the drugs. And he was like, "Yeah, we had such a wild night last night." And he was like really disturbed by me crying. I was like bawling. Um, he was trying to like, oh, we had such a great night together. And he was trying to like say, "Oh, we can watch a Disney movie together or something to cheer me up." And I mean, I do weed occasionally now, and I drink occasionally now, but I've never like just felt sad after it. I've done Molly a few times, and after that, I've felt like kind of down and sad the next day, like just crying the next day, but I've never had that reaction to weed. But he said it was,
That
yeah, sorry I'm all over the
No, it's
place.
okay. You can take your time. Did Yeah, that doesn't sound like a reaction to weed either. Do you think he may have put something else in your drink?
I mean, maybe, I don't,
How much did you have to drink, first of all?
I'm maybe like a few glasses. I don't
Of like
really.
wine or anything harder?
I think it was wine. I think it was wine. I know I didn't like drink crazy because I'm young. I've been out with friends and got drunk at the
Right.
club and stuff, but like I never just felt out of my mind and we it's not like we didn't take edibles or anything. We just smoked the weed too, but
Right.
I don't know. I definitely had a strong reaction the next day, but I just tried to convince myself that I was overreacting. I I told myself to calm down, like, be cool about it. If I just stayed cool, everything would be okay. Um, Not to go into unrelated stuff too
No, go
much,
ahead.
but I I do have experience with um child abuse, so it's kind of hard for me to like know in my mind like my boundaries, if that makes sense. Like
Right.
if I know something's not right, it's kind of hard for me to stand up for myself. So he was just telling me like, "Oh, we had so much fun. Cheer up, don't cry." And I just kind of convinced myself like, "Okay, like I believe him. I'm overreacting."
Damn. I'm I'm really sorry to hear that because no, I completely get that. Again, as someone who's been through child abuse myself, that is absolutely a thing. Especially when you're raised being treated very horribly and you're taught to like, no, 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 this is actually a good thing and there's nothing wrong with this and like it's okay, like,
Yeah.
and then when, other people use that kind of behavior on you and then they try to like gaslight you the way you were when you were younger, you kind of have that um maybe like a little bit of a relapse and it's like yeah I must be just I must be just imagining it. um I'm
There was another
I'm really sorry.
situation.
No, go.
I'm sorry, I'm talking over you.
No, it's okay.
Um, yeah, so there was another situation that happened where like I, sometimes he took me to his house once as well. There was no wife there, so I thought it was okay. Sometimes we were at the studio, sometimes I just stayed with my friend. But there was the other occasion where I asked him if I could stay with him that particular night because my friend wouldn't be home and her roommates, like, they seemed okay, but I didn't know them and they were all guys. And he seemed like he was fine with that, like me staying at the studio. And that night, um, like, okay, so just sorry, I'm all over the place, but like,
It's okay.
while I was there, there was really not any time I was sober. Like, if we went out to dinner, he brought like a vape pen of weed and like was really like, "Oh, you should try this and take this." And anyway, I was home or I was with him at the DP studio and he had like bought these new edibles and I had never had one before and like he we did drink too at that time and he gave me like like a small piece of the edible because it's really strong
Right.
and I just woke up like 4 to 5 hours later. When I woke up he was like laying next to me on the bed like in this futon that they have and I was I guess I wasn't as emotionally distraught then because when I woke up, I couldn't even walk. Um, he had me on his shoulder
Were you in
and he carried me.
Were you in
I'm
pain?
sorry. No, I didn't have any pain. I just it's kind of blurry, but I didn't when I woke up, I didn't necessarily feel like I don't know if anything happened, but I wasn't in my right mind when I woke up. I couldn't even walk. He had to literally pick me up
So
and
so so you blacked out multiple times on this trip,
um
and he kept pressuring you to do more.
I think this time it was more like of a clear blackout. Like I maybe because the edible again, I've taken
Right.
edibles now. I've never just like woke up like a few hours later. I know it can make you sleepy, but I've never had that.
Right.
Um that was the time it felt like a just straight up like blackout, but like the time we were like on New Year's Eve, it just kind of felt fuzzy. Like it just kind of gradually, like it didn't feel like a straight up blackout,
Well,
but
it felt like you
I
were
just,
fading out. That's what it
yeah,
sounds like. You were fading away into a blackout, and then you don't remember what happened until you woke up, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would call that two blackouts. Then I would classify both of those as blackouts, and I wonder why after the first time and after the way you clearly were distraught when you woke up, that he would push you to get so high and drunk again. That's that doesn't seem like a way to treat someone that you care about.
I mean, I shouldn't have, the first time you do drugs, I I should have did it around somebody I knew and I trusted. My mom
Right.
even told me that, I didn't really tell her too much about the trip, but she just told me like, "Oh, if you're gonna try marijuana, you should do it with people, like women, be there, someone you trust closely." So I get that I had, in hindsight, I know I had a few
Well,
bad judgment calls,
sh-
but I was,
sure,
yeah.
but he was very clearly trying to pressure you to do these things. I mean, did you say no when he first asked you if you wanted to smoke?
Wanted to try it a little bit,
So you
but
okay.
I was a little hesitant. But
Right.
yeah, I was kind of. So that was like him right after picking me up, from my friend's place, just taking me straight to the studio, whipping out weed. I mean, I kind of wanted to try weed, but it was just kind of like it just felt so rushed. Like I felt
Yeah,
like
it
I
was too
didn't even have
quick.
time to think about what was happening.
Right. No, that's definitely really weird. And as the chat here is saying, yeah, you didn't do anything wrong. I want you to remember that because, again, you were very inexperienced in all of this. It was very clear he like you looked up to him again, like he's an internet celebrity. He's the host of a show you enjoy, and honestly, like there's a very weed heavy culture on the show in general. So I perfectly understand why you would like feel pulled into that right away and not necessarily be like, no, I'm not doing this, or, especially when he comes on with it so quickly and so strongly and doesn't just like ease you into it. It seems like there's no attempt here at like easing you into anything, at like keeping an eye on your feelings, paying attention to your feelings and whether or not this is moving too quickly for you. It sounds like he kind of just disregarded all of that and did what he wanted.
Yeah, and the times outside of like this stuff, he seemed really nice. Like he took me to this fancy steakhouse. It was so expensive. Like I
Gotta
was like, Are you sure?" It was like $300 a person or something. And I was like, are you sure this is okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, like I want to treat you well. Got me sweets and ice cream and stuff." So, when somebody is just really, they seem nice, and the times outside of that, you're like, "Oh, okay, maybe I'm,
right. Right. It's very
yeah,
easy to feel like, if you feel weird about something, it's just maybe you being ungrateful or you not like, it's your fault. He's just being sweet and nice to you, and like, there's nothing weird about this, like weird sex stuff and the weird blacking out or anything. Like it's very easy to like fall into that trap, especially when he's yeah like trying to show you how great he is, how rich he is, trying to flex that money he's got.
he talked about money a lot too. Like, he, it was just kind of strange. I didn't really like, of course, every person wants to feel like adored or somebody to dote on them, but I didn't
Yeah.
really like the feeling of him kind of just like he was trying to buy me, or like he was,
Right.
I don't know. And something I forgot to mention about that night where like I couldn't walk. So anybody that's been in that building, there's like really super long walls where the studio is, and he held me on his shoulder, and I I just like my legs felt like jelly, and he put me in the car, and he said he had to go like look after his dog or something, and he was gonna take me back to my friend's house where he wasn't there, and I was out of my mind on weed or who knows what really, and he like I remember being in the car like, wow, I feel like I'm in a spaceship. Like I wasn't in my right. I couldn't even process like that I like possibly blacked out before then. I was just not there. And he took me to my friend's house, and again, men there, guys there that I didn't know, and he just left me there. And I messaged him that morning, and I know it's not, I was 20. It's not his responsibility to make sure that I'm safe, but I think
Oh,
that
I
was a really
disagree. I disagree completely. He is the one who convinced you to do those drugs and put you in that state. I think he's absolutely responsible for what happens to you afterwards. If he put you there and you got raped by each of those men, that would have been partially on him because he got you to that state of being so drugged out of your mind, and then wasn't even responsible with you once he did put you in that state. And who knows what he did well before, and it's I that is not okay. Not at all. To just leave you there, that's I'm really sorry that happened.
thank you. Nothing happened with the guys
No, I
there.
gathered.
It was fine, but yeah, but I even messaged him the next morning, and I was just like, like that was even just on the human level as human beings, we're both from the Midwest. We should have, similar sensibilities. You don't leave women in positions like that.
No, you don't
So
like
just even
any.
on a human level, it's just kind of shitty.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, like most guys with a fucking conscience, like even if they weren't the one to get the woman super drunk, it's like, oh, I see that she's fucking, drunk as fuck. Let's make sure she's okay. Let's not leave her alone. There's some creepy guys around here, right? He showed absolutely no concern for what would happen to you after that. It just seemed like he was trying to get you out of his way so he could go take care of whatever else he needed to take care of. I'm really sorry to hear that, Amina. That's really fucked. So was there anything else that happened on that trip before you went home?
Yeah, I with him, um, not necessarily like when all that stuff happened, I felt uncomfortable. He could tell that I was uncomfortable at times, but I just kept trying to convince myself that it would be okay. And then he kept me high, with like the vape pen, so I wasn't even really in my right mind for most of it. I met up with friends in Seattle, and Ben and I, we did other stuff. Like he took me to like the aquarium, Pike's Place and stuff, and um, yeah, like even my friend, she could kind of see something was wrong with me, and she was asking me about it, but I just, kept everything myself. Um, actually, so um,
Mm.
Chelsea, I told her like that I was staying with my friend, and she was saying like, oh, like if I knew before, I would have let you like stay with us in our guest bedroom. And I said that to Ben. I was just mentioning it because I had hung out like with Chelsea 101. I hung out with Chelsea and TJ, like just them two. We just watched YouTube,
Right.
very briefly, but it was, nice. And I told him, and he was like, "Oh, they're just probably trying to have a three-way with you. They're just probably just trying to have sex with you." And then he said the same
Uh-huh.
thing about Paul, which was really weird on the trip. It
Huh.
was just
So,
strange.
so everyone else is just trying to have sex with you. Like, stay away from these people. They're trying to have sex with you. You'd better watch out. Like, yeah, that's really fucking weird. That is, um, I think you mentioned something about TJ and Chelsea offering you a place to stay as well, and he told you not to, or
Yeah, so Chelsea, I just kind of told her, like, oh, I'm staying with my friend, but she's these roommates, I don't really know. And she was like, oh, like, if you told me, I would have let you, like, stayed in the guest bedroom, just being nice. And that was when he told me, like, oh, you better be careful. She's probably just trying to get you so you can have sex with her and TJ. And then he said the same thing. I've never talked to Paul then ever, but he said the same thing about Paul, which was really weird.
yeah, that Paul doesn't seem like the type of person to try to rope you into bed, or even TJ and Chelsea like that. That's just all extremely fucking weird. Um, what was that all that had on that trip? That was that all that happened on the trip, or was there anything else?
Um, he told me, well, I mean, this is kind of an aside, but he would always look at like the DP subreddit, which was just kind of weird looking back, but I guess it doesn't really matter. But at the end of the trip, he told me he was going to get therapy. He implied that, like, he never admitted that he was with his wife, and she was not there she wasn't anywhere. I went to his house a few times, she wasn't there. There was something on the fridge, like alphabet letters, and it said, like the ones they have for kids, like magnets,
Yeah.
and it said like Ben lies or something, which I thought that was really weird. Like I pointed it out to him, I was like, what? And then he was like,
Wait,
kind of laughed it off.
whose house was this?
It was at Ben's house.
Oh, at Ben's house. Huh. Weird.
Yeah, it was weird. I pointed it to him and he kind of like laughed it off, but there was like, and I stayed the night there too, but there was just no,
How
I
long was
didn't
this trip?
think, I stayed for like a week, I
Okay.
think. Yeah, it was about a week.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't see any signs of like the wife there, but I think he had us sleep in like a guest bedroom. I slept there like one night, yeah, and at the DP studio, like maybe 2 nights. But
Okay.
yeah, he at the end of the trip, I was like, yeah, he just said he was gonna get therapy, and he kind of implied that he was separated, like he had a wife, but they didn't live together. They lived completely separate lives. And he told me that towards the end of the trip, he said that she didn't have a job because he moved the show to Seattle, so she relied on him, which I thought was kind of bad because he told me he also moved the show to Seattle for the other person.
So he told
But
you
yeah.
that he moved his wife to Seattle, and
Well, he said that his wife didn't have a job, so he was like separated from her, but he didn't want to like divorce her because she didn't have a job because he moved her to
oh,
Seattle with him.
so it was his fault she didn't have a job, and so then he was like, "Oh yeah, well that's why I don't want to break her up." That's really weird
That's
because
what he said.
and he broke and he moved to Seattle. apparently to be with another girl, which that's kind of weird because it's been said that actually, didn't you send me something about him moving to Seattle for another reason? And that it was the other guys that wanted to move there, and that he was like, oh yeah, sure, or something.
He said that like when I was first talking with him, he was telling me all this sad stuff about Rachel,
Right.
and he said that like, oh, I moved all the way here just to be close with her, and now I have to be in the city for the rest of my life, and I'm just doomed and depressed. And I said I wanted to go because I wanted to be close with her, but the guys like agreed to it. This is what he told me. I don't
Huh.
know what's true, but this is what Ben said.
Weird. Okay. Yeah, it seems like there's some conflicting stories out there about why they went to Seattle, but all right. Um, let's see. What's next? So how was it after that trip? What was your relationship with him like after? And was there a goal to meet up again?
So he like said that he was in therapy and he would tell me about his therapy and that he was separated from his wife, which I learned wasn't true. I guess when I was there
Yeah,
during New Year's Eve, she was.
no, sorry, what prompted him to say that the thing about therapy? Why'd he even bring it up to you?
I well, I think he like realized like I mean, I was hanging out with like a few different people. People had told me some things and maybe it was like the end of the
Oh, so it
trip.
was because of that stuff?
Yeah, I think he
Okay.
just wanted to like have me keep talking to him and like think like, oh, I don't know, like I could trust him or something.
Okay. Uh,
But he like implied like him and Scotty would go to Japan for a meetup, which I'm like, okay, like I didn't think it was gonna happen, but he was like, yeah, I want to visit you in Tokyo. Like me and Scotty, we're gonna go to this wrestling thing. Maybe we'll have a meetup in Tokyo.
hmm. Okay.
But yeah, I left with the impression that he was completely separated from his wife. I obviously didn't want to really talk to somebody that was married, but I mean, if he's like separated, then I kind of thought like it wasn't that big of a deal then.
Right.
But he just kept saying like, "Oh, she relies on me financially, and like we don't even really talk." But I learned that that was not true. They live together still. Then I don't know about now, but they definitely were married then, and they weren't separated, to
Hmm.
my knowledge, from what I've heard from like multiple people.
Okay. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I've heard that from multiple people too. That he is still married. Oh, okay. Seems to go back and forth on that a lot. Um. So, were you still in a relationship with him, from what you understood? Like, was it like a long distance relationship?
Just I kind of backed away. Um, I still kind of had hopes of maybe us being together, like if he actually did separate or like if he figured some stuff out. But he kept telling me about his therapy. And then there was the like Albuquerque meetup, which I think was in January that year, January 2017, I think. Or maybe it was, I don't know if it was, I think it was Albuquerque or Santa Fe. It was one of those places. But some people told me that he actually had like a girl in his room,
Hmm.
which, I mean, if he had just told me like, oh, whatever, then I would have understood that, I guess. But I asked him, and he sent this like really dramatic thing. He was like, I'm so depressed. People are trying to ruin my life. he sent me a video of him on a train, like a sad video of him on a train back to Seattle, I guess, or back to somewhere. Like he was on a train and he was like, "Yeah, I'm just this really like everybody's out to get me." Um and that's when I kind of just started to wake up a bit more. I started ignoring him. I didn't talk to him as much, and he would just message me, which I showed you that, but he would like message me like repeatedly trying to get me to talk to him, like, "Oh, I really need to talk to you." Um and I was just kind of like, I don't know, like every time I tried to bring up something just to ask him or to be held accountable, um he just deflected, or he said like, "Oh, TJ cheated on people," which I don't really understand how that's relevant, but he never answered any questions. He just started talking about how everybody treated him so bad. So finally he sent me something from Rachel and his ex, supposedly, and he said she was sending him like threats and stuff, and she had sent stuff to him in the mail, and she was trying to ruin his life. And at this point, I was kind of like at my wits' end. I wanted to believe the two other women who had like warned me about him. I was kind of starting to actually believe them, but I still had him like influencing me. So I contacted her privately, not to start drama, not to, you know, start anything bad. I just asked for more understanding on the situation. And she was like, "What the F?" I sent him threats. She's told me, like, "Oh, I just sent him his old stuff he had at my house."
Hmm.
And then I was like, "What?" And then she said, "Yeah, I just sent him the old stuff he had in my house." And then I was like, "Okay, well, just asking her a bit." And she said, "Well, he was still with his wife and she didn't want to deal with him." And then I was like, "Okay, understood." And then I remembered when he was saying like something about like death threats, whatever, suicide threats, I should say. But apparently, like everything he told me about her was actually stuff that he did. So he was the
Rachel,
one doing the
the girl you called Rachel at the beginning?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was everything that he said about her, like cheating, suicide threats, just,
So projection.
emotional abuse. It was everything he told me, like how she abused him.
It was
It
all stuff
was
that he had
what,
done.
yeah, to her. And at that point, I confronted him, um, because I'm just thinking then, like, I can't do this. Like, she has the same experience as me. This is definitely emotional abuse. So I confronted him. I asked him again, and he was really frustrated, really, really angry. I'd never really seen him that angry, talking to me about me asking her that. He told me that I ruined his life. He told me that I, um, I treat him really bad and that he was just so hurt by me. And I felt really bad at this point. Um, I really felt like I had done something wrong. And I think I said, like, "Oh, I hate my life," or something. I know I never did a suicide threat. But he
Right.
put that in the subreddit, like, with absolutely no context. And he made it as if I had did that, which
You
I didn't
saying I
do,
hate my
which is kind of,
life?
yeah,
That's really
because he
weird.
told me that I ruined his life. I, yeah. So we just stopped talking after this. I talked to somebody who knows him, and I told, I didn't really like leave. I didn't leave my, I mean, I didn't leave my house for a few days after that because I felt so bad. I was like, wow, I didn't mean to like hurt him. I just wanted like some confirmation that I wasn't crazy. And,
Right.
you know, just I was told he was in Vegas living it up. He wasn't sad at all. He had basically told me like he was depressed, he couldn't do anything. He wasn't. He was just manipulating me.
I'm really sorry. Um, yeah, that's it's really fucked up that he would like lie to you, like constantly gaslight you, try and like there's some nasty tactics here, like especially like showing your private messages and trying to like paint you as like a manipulator when he's the one doing the same thing. Um, yeah, it's definitely some psychotic behavior here. Um, okay, so I guess hmm. I guess we've covered a lot of this. How long did it last? How long until
Um,
you finally like had enough?
and it all just felt so quick. It was like September to February, really.
Okay.
Everything felt like it was so fast. I obviously didn't post on the subreddit then. I just tried to move on, just tried not to
Right.
think about it. Yeah, I,
Um
yeah,
it's okay.
yeah.
It's okay. We'll get to the subreddit in a moment. Let's see. Here there's a couple of small things. Did he ever accuse you of cheating?
Um, Not really. He more so just was saying like everybody was trying to have sex with me,
Okay. Yeah.
which I mentioned before, and um, it was just really weird. Like he just told me like be careful of everybody. They're trying to have sex with me or
God
something
damn,
like
he does a
that.
lot of
But
projecting. Oh yeah, what you said your relationship was 2016 and to 2017, right?
yeah.
Okay. Um did he yeah, that is some behavior where it's clear he's trying to isolate you. Um would he ever have like emotional outbursts or get really angry at you?
He mostly just was just sad all the time, just
Okay.
sad and stuff. Just sad, but he did when I went to his ex and just kind of confirmed some things. He did uh, get really angry with me then. I think he just, it's like a switch for him. Like,
Right.
if the switch is on, if you're ignoring him, he's bombarding you with messages, sending you baby pictures, you
Right.
know, trying to influence you. If the switch is off, then you're just dead to him.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, September 2016 to February 2017. Um okay. So, let's see. Did he ever try to control your social media in any way or control what you were or weren't allowed to post or anything like that?
No, I actually think because I think I think he started doing that after I um
Right. You,
yeah, I
you,
think that started after me. I
you,
think I was kind of yeah.
you think it was because he was paranoid from what happened with you, right?
Yeah, because so many people like I said, even a guest on the show like even came to me and told me like, "Oh, watch out about him." So, I think
Right.
like after that, he definitely told people, girls like, "Oh, Ashley hates me, Chelsea hates me, every woman just hates him." He even told a few women about me before I even went in the subreddit, just
You
kind of
know,
like preemptively trying to. discredit me.
That is kind of a red flag. They're like, oh, she hates me. This woman hates me. This one. I wonder why all the women hate you. You know, that's kind of weird. It's. Am I supposed to believe they all just have this irrational hatred for you and you did nothing to piss them off? Like, kind of weird. Oh, also before we continue, I want to address this in the chat because I forgot to finish my point earlier, but at the beginning of the stream, I was bringing up the fact because people have been asking why the other previous hosts of DP haven't talked about this. Like I said, they did not, for one thing, they didn't know the extent of a lot of this. They didn't realize that he, you know, got women to black out and possibly, you know, possibly roofied them and that, you know, he did this date rapey behavior. The other reason is there's been certain legal agreements keeping them from speaking on this or on Ben in any way. So yeah, there's nothing on that yet, unfortunately. So yeah, but there are reasons why they're not able to comment on this just yet. But all right. So let's continue. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that I had said that because I think I said the first reason and then I got distracted and didn't say the second reason or whatever. Okay, it's cool. We're caught up. All right. Let's see. How long did it last? Okay, and you already talked about New Year's Eve. When you were talking to him, well, I guess you've kind of mostly answered this, but did the conversations consist mostly of like sex, or I know you said there was a lot of like him talking about his problems and, you know, talking like he's in therapy and whatnot, talking to everyone like they're his therapist. What is that mostly what the conversations would be?
He never asked me really about me. The conversations were either him talking about how everybody hated him, how everybody was so horrible to him, or they were about sex, or they were like him trashing his other hosts. That was probably like 90% of the conversations.
Not 90% of his conversations to you were just him trashing his other co-hosts?
I mean, all three of those things are like
Oh, okay, right.
together. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. All right. So, but he did that with you a lot.
All the time.
Okay.
I don't even think he knew my last name.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm sorry. That's fucked. Okay. Let's see. All right. So, what happened when you tried to break things off? What was the how did the quote unquote breakup go? And what was the fallout from that?
Kind of what I said. He could tell I was kind of drifting away. He tried so many things to kind of rope me back in, but it was like when I talked to Rachel, he just flipped a switch and was like, "You're trying to ruin my life," and then just, "You're ruining my life." It made me feel bad. Yeah, you're toxic.
Damn. Oh, okay. Paul has commented in the chat. He said, "I'm under no such agreement for the record. I'm happy to be deposed in any legal action, but I was kept at arm's length by Ben. I'd have nothing to add to these stories anyway." All right, yeah, fair enough. And that is true. Like that's another reason like the guys aren't really talking about it. They're not. These aren't their stories. There's a reason I'm bringing these women on to tell their stories. Like, this is Amina's story. Taylor told her story. And, yeah, it doesn't sound like Paul would have much to add to these stories. I completely understand that. All right. So let's, all right. So after you broke it off with him, it's clear. So was he basically trying to like get you back after that, or did he just like move on?
He was trying to get me back like before kind of I contacted his ex. He, like I
Okay.
said, he sent like baby pictures and
Right.
all this
So
sad stuff.
so it
But
was
then
ongoing.
when I contacted her, which that was just, I was just on his fuck you list after that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Um so what did you do afterwards? Because you mentioned posting this on the Reddit. How long until you did that, and what was the thing that caused you to finally do that?
I I mean, I tried to just I knew I felt like I didn't 100% have the capacity. I mean, we had sex where I gave full consent, but on those few occasions that I told you about where I didn't feel like comfortable with that. But at the same time, I also felt like I wasn't valid in those feelings because I had continued to talk to him, which now I know. Obviously, I'm not comparing Ben to Bill Cosby or Weinstein. I'm not doing that,
Right.
but in those cases, like almost all of the women kept talking to the men after the instances,
Right.
and I guess that's incredibly common. Like it takes a while to kind of accept
Absolutely.
like that it wasn't right. So
Th-
I just kind of
that's
just
not the only similarity between those cases, by the way. I will just say there's a few.
yeah, I just like stepped back. Later that year, I mean, it impacted me in a lot of ways. I felt like I kind of just lost myself. Um, and I know you can't necessarily, well, no, I guess you can prove emotional abuse, but I think it's more impactful than people think.
Absolutely.
Um, I felt like I felt like a frog in a hot pot, like the temperature just being like turned up. And I just found it really hard to trust people. I just couldn't really believe that somebody would do that. I guess I was kind of naive. It was a lesson for me, but it really did impact me. I was already kind of a fragile person, so maybe it impacted me more than it might impact others. But yeah, it just was a lot. I couldn't really find myself after that. It was only like I posted in the DP subreddit, because I saw in a Discord people were talking about Ben. Like they were kind of like alluding to him doing stuff still, but they were talking about him. And
Right.
it kind of like triggered me because I started like talking to like a few of those people and they basically said he was back at it. So in my
Hmm.
mind, when I was dealing with him, I was like maybe he, just need help. Everybody makes mistakes sometimes. Even though I was pretty angry and I thought he was bad, I still thought like, okay, you know, I don't know, maybe this is just not who he is.
Right.
But just to hear,
You hoped he
yeah,
would change. You wanted him to change. You
just as a
didn't.
person, you don't want people
Absolutely.
to be hurt. I mean, you have to be hurt on. I'm not a doctor, okay, but I think we can all agree you have to be like incredibly just hurt inside as a person to just be able to do these things. So,
Oh,
even
I
just
ag-
on a
I agree, and it does seem like Paul, not Paul. It does seem like Ben is a very emotionally damaged person, but that doesn't give him the right to do the same to others. It,
exactly, that was kind of why I posted on the subreddit because I saw that he was still at it, and I kind of had enough. I just want to say before we talk about this,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go about posting it the right way. I was pretty emotional when I posted it,
Okay.
but my intentions were still, I wanted at least young women that he encountered to at least know so they can make their own decision.
Absolutely.
So I know I didn't go about it maybe in the best way that I could have.
Sure, but you were
Um,
emotional. You were going through a lot. Like it's very hard to tell your story. That's why I was never gonna just ask you to just come on here and answer these questions for the first time. I let you think about them, you know. Because I fully get it. Like telling your story is not easy, and especially like when you're just trying to get people to believe you. You know, you're not going to come off as the most super rational person, you know, especially in that moment because pain isn't rational, you know, abuse isn't rational, and the way we react to it isn't rational. And so you did nothing wrong. Like you got to remember that. Like you did the best you could. It was very clear already that you know, I wouldn't blame you for being nervous as to whether or not people would actually listen to you, you know. So yeah, try not to blame yourself for the way in which you did it. We all react to things less than rationally at times.
Thank you. I even told something I also regret about it is, I mean, of course, people are attracted to drama. But
Sure.
there were personal things that were brought out about Chelsea and TJ, which they didn't have anything to do with like the subject. So it was kind of strange that that kind of came out of it.
It was
But
brought up when you
I,
brought up your story,
yes, by just other people.
almost like a deflection, like, oh, well, Ben must have done this
Yeah.
bad thing, but here's something TJ did. Pay no attention. Yeah, that happens still. Um,
But I like from then I felt really bad about that. Like it had been on my heart for like a while, so I messaged TJ and Chelsea and I just told them like, look, I'm sorry, like I came out on the subreddit. I'm sorry if you guys were like involved in this in any way because they were both really nice to me when I visited Seattle. You know, I felt really bad that that they got kind of like in the crossfire of that kind of stuff.
yeah.
And they both said, you know, they were cool with me. So, yeah, so like when I came out on the subreddit, um, well, first of all, I kind of talked about this earlier, but he immediately said he had no knowledge of me being a sex worker, which people found from like my other Reddit posts. It was not, had nothing to do with me meeting him, but he did know. I told him
Right.
very early on, and I posted that it's just proof. I don't know why he lied about that, and people just kind of weaponized that against me. Ryby, she like pretended to be a victim, or I shouldn't say victim. She pretended to be a girl and was like, "Oh, Ben did this and that. Can I get more information?" And I told her like, "Oh, just talk to me, like, you know." And then she like went back and told him. It was very strange. One of the women that he was with, the one he talks about who has kids. I don't know why. It's really strange. But anyway, this woman, she racially like harassed me. It was really weird. She said that I had like chink eyes and I had flared nigger nostrils.
Oh my God.
I was gonna die of AIDS. She was like messaging people that I worked with on my Twitter, which it was just really strange and
I'm
like
really sorry. That's fucked.
yeah, it was pretty strange. I mean, I'm happy I made that Reddit post in some way because so many girls, like I didn't even know that this was gonna happen. I thought it would reach like a few people and like if
Right.
girls wanted to know, then okay, they could see this and make up their own mind. So
Exactly.
many like messaged me. The person who told me that she was like 14, 15 when he messaged her, she showed me everything, said something. Ben told me in person that he was chatting with like a 16-year-old who was a fan of the show. He didn't say they did anything sexual, so I'll give him that. He didn't say anything sexual, but he said like her parents beat her, and I was like, well, can't you like tell the police like this minor is talking to you? He's like, no, I can't do that. It was just really weird. I know people can make their own judgment about that particular person, but he did tell me that. He knows he told me that. If he's not talking to minors, then he shouldn't be saying that to people. I don't think that Ben is a pedophile. I've never claimed that. I've never claimed that.
No,
Brett
neither have
Keen has
I.
claimed that. Brett
Yeah.
Keen has claimed that, and people who were like on Ben's side claimed it. I think as a way to like kind of discredit
Right.
everything else. But I've never said that.
Brett's called
I know
everyone a
he does.
pedophile.
Yeah, I've never said that. But I mean, he did tell me he was talking to someone who was 16. I didn't. I don't. I still don't think he's a pedophile. I'm not gonna say
Right.
that. That's a very serious accusation.
Oh, it is.
But I mean, I think that's inappropriate still. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
that's good. But I've never said that about him. I don't know why. Like they bring that up, but
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I've been accused of propagating the same thing, even though I never did. They're saying, "Oh, Jamie's saying that Ben's a groomer." I never once said that. No one here has said that. We've just there's been some rumors that have come up where it's like, "Oh, it sounds like Ben talks to younger girls." That's kind of weird. That's all anyone's ever said. No one's accused him of anything. But if anyone does have anything on that, feel free to come forward with it.
The reason I just brought that up is because, okay, even for me at 19, 20, the experience with him, thankfully it was short lived, it still was pretty damaging to me.
Right.
So even if it is, I guess, platonic with a 16-year-old or 17-year-old, like that kind of thing can just really mess up people's trust. And that was like a big reason I wanted to post on the subreddit as well, just so people could like people who needed to know could know, you know. Like I
Absolutely.
said, I could have went about it a better way. I should have I should have went like through the right avenues. I shouldn't have been so
Well, I
emotional.
don't know what other avenues you could have gone through though. I don't know how else like to let an audience of a show know that one of the hosts is a a predatory person. Like how else do you go about that other than going into a community that they're a part of and just telling people? Like
Right, and
it's
I mean, oh, go on.
Oh, and for anyone who says the police, I read at the beginning of the last stream statistics on rape cases. Only 1 in 10 women who are raped actually report it, and then from then like I don't have the statistics in front of me, but it's a very a minor percentage of cases that actually fucking see the light of day. It was hang on. Yeah, about only 13 out of 1,000 get a prosecutor. Okay, that's a 1.3% chance your case will go in front of someone. Then only 13 out of 7 of those will actually go to court. So that drops to a 0.7% chance that it'll go anywhere. Then, out of that 0.7% chance, only 18% get convicted, making the final likelihood of anything happening a 0.126% chance of anything happening from it. Even if you do report this, which some of the victims have, all right, doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere, okay? As far as the police are concerned, it's just another number for a statistic and a shit ton of paperwork that they don't want to do. All right? If it was as easy as just saying, "Oh, we'll go to the police and then it's taken care of." I wish that was possible. I wish we could just take this to some authorities and sit back and let it be taken care of. But I don't think that's going to work now, and I don't think it would have worked then. Because how do you prove these things? How do you prove all of the fucked up shit that Ben has done? How do you like, in order for it to go anywhere legally, you have to have like actual proof of like some kind of wrongdoing. And it's very hard to prove your own experiences, especially when a lot of it is like emotionally manipulative fucking behavior. You know, it's not
sorry.
that simple. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Thank you for that. No, you didn't cut me off. I was just gonna say thank you for that. I don't think people realize like 40 to 50% of police officers are domestic abusers. Okay, I'm from Detroit. I'm Black. I don't know a single person who has ever been helped by the police. Okay, so I think we live in different worlds.
Right.
I've known people who have been like harassed by the police. When I was a kid, I went to the police about like an abusive situation. I was a little kid. They didn't do anything. And okay, I'm not trying to, I don't know, I guess identity politics isn't the best word for this. I'm not trying to do identity politics or something, but I'm a young Black woman from Detroit. He's an older white male who has way more money than me. Do you really think that they're going to take my side? I mean, even if I thought that even if they would, why would I have faith in them taking my side? And I just think the thing about Ben is like, if he was just a normal guy who was married and was just hooking up with women at bars, that would be wrong, of course. That would be very wrong. But that would be kind of different than like going through like your fan base and looking for women who are like 18, 19 years old to talk to. I know a lot of people just kind of think, oh, it might be true, but he's just an F-boy or whatever. I mean, emotional abuse isn't illegal, but I said this like when I first came out, but there's something like wrong, very wrong. I mean, if you talk to him for a length of time, you'll kind of pick up on it, but it's not just an F-boy or something. I don't really understand why I would come out on Reddit knowing I'm gonna get this pushback from his own fan base. Why would I do that? Why would I subject myself to that? To people harassing me for months, to women that he was with harassing me, to people bothering me, to, you know, my name and my sex work and stuff, which I wasn't out then. I told him, but I wasn't out about that then. That being like out now, being outed like that. Why would I subject myself to that when, I mean, I'm sure most people, most women, most men, anybody have dealt with F-boys before. They're not going on Reddit and telling people about it. Why would multiple people come out about this? Like, I don't have anything to gain from this. I posted it. I just posted it because I didn't want it to happen again. And again, I should have told the police, I guess, when I felt like I wasn't all there when we were together from the drugs and the alcohol and the drinks, whatever. But like I said, on that entire trip, he was just hounding me to smoke, and I wasn't even sober then. It just took me kind of months to come to grips to like how bad that was.
Right. Oh, it's completely understandable. Like, and I fully understand why this is so hard. No, like, a lot of people want to be really uncharitable and be like, oh, why didn't you say something sooner? Or, oh, why did you talk to him after? Or, oh, why this or why that? But like, the fact is, and I get a lot of people have questions, but like if you take your time and just try to be a little bit charitable and try to put yourself in someone else's shoes, it's very clear there's answers to these questions that a lot of the time regular people can't understand. If you haven't been through abuse, if you haven't gone through this kind of shit before, it's very hard to understand what you're going through. And yeah, no, absolutely. I like I said, this is why I do not blame you for addressing it the way you did. Especially because, again, like, you can go to the police all you want, but it's probably not going to go anywhere. It's always best to, like, to make it public, out the person. Like, if they're doing this, especially if they're using their fucking platform, like, I'm sorry, I know some people are really super anti-fucking, oh my god, it's cancel culture everywhere, but there's some people that need to be canceled, or at the very least, need to be outed for what they do. Because even if what he's doing is technically not illegal, or if some of the things he's doing is technically not illegal, that doesn't mean that people shouldn't be informed about this person and what they're doing. People should, young women who get involved with someone like this should know what kind of stuff is out there about him. What he, people should be able to be warned. Even if it's not illegal, there's a reason why, like, there's a reason why, like, a lot of people. Sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say. It's. Goddamn. Sorry, I need to stop looking at the chat. But no, it's a really fucked up situation. All right. It's a really fucked up situation. It's hard to deal with. It's hard to know how to deal with this, but it needs to be known. A lot of people with power and influence like this use that power and influence to bury these stories and not allow anyone to talk about them. So even back then, you were very brave for coming forward and just being honest.
I just,
Mm?
yeah, I mean, I just think he's a dangerous person. Maybe not physically dangerous. I don't know about that. I can't say that he's physically dangerous, but
Definitely emotionally dangerous.
it's kind of scary. It's just really scary, to
Also,
be honest.
not the kind of person you want to let your daughters around. That's all I'm saying. Like, he seems like the kind of dude that, like, will coerce you into some very uncomfortable positions, and that those don't feel okay. That does feel dangerous. The way he treated you on that trip sounds very dangerous. So there's a lot of, like, not okay
Making me question
behaviors
my
there.
sanity. That was like,
Yeah,
yeah, that really fucked me up mentally. Just,
I can imagine.
um,
It's not fun being gaslit, especially when the
I mean,
other person has all the power over you in the relationship.
I know, a lot of people might just think, um, he just needs help or something, or he just made a mistake. And honestly, I know just being a woman, I kind of understand that mindset of like, not just being a woman, as a human being, just, I'm very sensitive and I want to always give people another chance. I'm not one of
Right.
those people who thinks like, I think somebody can cheat or something and still be a decent person,
Oh, of
okay?
course.
If it's
Everyone
just like
makes
a one-time thing or if somebody
Absolutely.
yeah, everybody makes mistakes,
Yeah.
but he's doing this on on purpose. This is like
It's a
it's
pattern of,
really fucked up, but he's doing it on purpose. He knows what he's doing.
right.
I really advise people to read Why Does He Do That? It's by Lundy Bancroft, and they kind of talk about this idea of someone who's just saying like I don't know what I'm doing and whatever. No, it's on purpose.
Yeah. No, it is definitely, it's a pattern of behavior. It's not something that just happened once. If it was, this would be a very different conversation. But like, I don't know that I'd be pushing this to this extent, but it's very clear this is something that he repeats over and over and over. And, I could handle the excuse of like, oh, I did some fucked up shit, bad judgment in the past, it was really stupid, I'm not going to do it again. But when someone's not only doing this kind of thing over and over, but going out of their way to stack the deck in their favor to make it easier for them to do this, going out of their way to bury any dissent on this, to not allow people to speak on this, like it's very clearly more than just someone making a mistake, and it's predatory behavior, and I want him to get help as much as I want the next person to get help. But it's clear at some point when a person is not seeking help, they're just repeating the same behaviors over and over. And at some point that needs to be stopped. It needs to be called out. It can't be allowed to, at the very least, it can't be allowed to continue silently without anyone speaking about it, especially when it's affected so many people.
And he talks about like people being bitch made, I guess. I saw something.
Yeah, he
And
says that a lot. He's called
I'm
me
sorry,
that
I
a
kind of
lot.
have to laugh. Oh, so he's saying bitch made now. So um I'm from Detroit. I think I can see bitch made when it's there. I think it's very bitch made to have people come after girls for you and attack them.
Yeah,
If you're just so innocent, everybody hates you, why can't you just talk about it? That's pretty bitch made to me.
right.
So,
Very true. Again, it's more
I mean, intimidating people. He threatened to sue me. Him and Ryby threatened that they were gonna like sue me for defamation to shut me up. Like I already told you that Ryby pretended to be like a victim or
right.
something, get more information to give it to Ben, and he threatened to sue me, which I'm not afraid about because I told the complete truth. So
Right.
he didn't do that, by the way, obviously. But sorry.
Right. Also, defamation is very hard to prove. Okay, so I guess let's continue talking about like the fallout of you posting this on the Reddit. You said I actually wanted to specifically ask you about this because you just brought her up, Ryby. You said Ryby came after you. Do you want to? I guess is there anything that you think should be known about Ryby specifically?
To my knowledge, she's not on the internet anymore. I don't know. Let me be clear. Ben is very manipulative.
Right.
So I'm willing to give her some slack, you know. She was pretty mean to me. But I'm willing to just kind of understand that he was most likely manipulating her. She acted kind of as like an
Intermediary?
Yeah, like when that stuff was happening. So she just basically did his bidding for him. She was the one who said like he was gonna sue me. She's like, "Oh, I care about you, so I want you to know like you're facing very serious charges or something." And then she was again the person who convinced me, like who told me like, "Oh, you should come." And I was like, "Oh, but I can't stay with him." And she's like, "Oh, you can't get a hotel or something," which I don't know. I don't know if she knew anything more, but whenever like if I was mad at him, Ryby came along and like, you know.
So
tried to like influence me.
right. So so someone in the chat asks, because it sounds like you're saying, are you saying Ryby was like an unwitting accomplice, like she didn't really know the full extent of what she was doing, or do you think she knew exactly what she was doing?
I don't know. I mean, at some points it definitely did seem pretty malicious, especially when she was pretending to be like women that have had something
Yeah,
bad happen to them
yeah,
and message me. That was really weird.
that's really fucked, honestly. That's really fucked. Like, oh, like I'm gonna I'm gonna say that I'm a victim of this to try to like milk you for information to then give back to Ben. That's yeah, that's really fucked.
Somebody said that's an old game. Yeah, she really reminded me of like a bottom bitch or something. I was gonna say that before, but I didn't say it. But that's exactly how it felt. Like she was there to get me in line or something.
Yeah, yeah, that's really fucked.
But again, she was probably being, he's like I said, he is incredibly
Sure.
manipulative. He'll make you do something you don't even, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
I kind of just give her, some leeway about that, I guess.
Sure. I know other people are far less charitable towards her, and I can understand why. Trust me. I hear her name coming up a lot in this, and I don't think this is the last time we'll hear about Ryby playing defense for Ben. But okay. Were there any other people that he sent after you to retaliate?
Like Jeff Holiday was posting some stuff on the subreddit, but I don't know him. Um, I wasn't particularly like, I mean, I guess he has some weight behind his name,
Right.
but I mean, I don't know him. I've never even really seen him on YouTube. Just he didn't really seem like okay, I shouldn't say that, but I wasn't. I mean, it felt like kind of being ganged up on, but I didn't really take it as personally as
Right.
Ryby because I kind of thought we were friends.
Right.
Um, and then there was the other woman, like that I mentioned before, who he was one of his women who, like I said, sent me like racist tweets, tweeted at me, called me a nigger, said I would die of like AIDS, um, you know, messaged people, like outed me basically, just harassed me for months, posted my name on the subreddit. And,
I'm sorry.
I wasn't a big public figure back then, not as big as like Drunken Peasants or anything, but I had a bit of a following. So, I mean, I understand like the internet can be kind of a hostile place at times, but yeah, this was just like a lot like at once. I just was thinking like, is this even worth it or, you know?
Right. Um, and yeah, you even sent me a screenshot of him doxing you in the subreddit. What was that, Ben himself?
Yeah, I think if we're talking about the same thing, um, so my name wasn't attached to that post on Reddit. I had a Reddit and I already had like I mostly use for like reality show commentary or something. It's just stupid. But I already had like Karma on there, so I just used that account. And he just like posted my name. I mean, I can understand the argument like if you're making like an accusation about somebody that I guess I could see why somebody would say like you shouldn't be anonymous. But yeah, he posted that stuff
I
about
mean,
me.
I think there's no reason why you wouldn't want to be anonymous. I understand you would wanting to be anonymous, especially after what you went through with Ben, and maybe not wanting people in your personal life to know the details about that or whatever. It
If
it
I was like I said, I had a little bit of an audience. Like if I was so just this scorned, malicious woman, wouldn't I try to like weaponize my audience to like
right.
go against? I had one bigger than I have now. Like I had like maybe 25,000 Twitter
Mm,
followers and like
damn.
again, of course, I wasn't as big as like Drunken Peasants or anything,
Right.
but like I could have, if I was just that person, like I could have just posted it like, oh, go get this guy or something. But I didn't do that. Like I just didn't think that kind of thing was right. But he just took it upon himself to put my name, that I was a sex worker or that I had done sex work at that point, which again I was not out about. And yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you want me to show this screenshot?
Um.
If not, that's
Sure.
fine.
Yeah. You can show it. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, as you guys can see here, this is Ben posting on the Reddit. He says, "Everyone I've ever messaged in more than a friendly way was of age. The one you keep mentioning with all your sock accounts, the unique fan, was 19. Her name was Amina, and she did the leaks on me. She was unique because she was black, American girl working as a Japanese idol in Tokyo. Go ask her yourself. She hates my guts, but she'd been
I don't even know why that stuff is relevant, but sorry.
yeah, it is really weird. Like it's that's why it feels like doxing, because it feels like he's trying to absolutely out everything about your who you are, so people know exactly who you are. Like that's kind of weird. Um, she hates my guts, but she's been clear about this before. You'd already know this if you'd actually done the research, since you had more than 2 years to do it. But you clearly just have an agenda. Yeah, anyone trying to talk about this just has an agenda, guys. No one's actually trying to get to the bottom of any truth. It's just there's an agenda, and we all hate Ben, obviously. See, nothing new but the same old shit that was presented and debunked back then. I've already admitted my actual wrongdoing, none of which broke any laws. Yeah, that's very questionable. But again, even if you were correct about not breaking any laws, Ben, you still it's still fucked up, and people have the right to know, especially people who are supporting you financially, and as well as your female fans, before they get involved with you. Yeah, absolutely. Whew. So yeah, that's really fucked up. Um, so, so okay, you said the other people that were trying to out you. Was there any other backlash that you faced from coming out with this?
I just, like I said before, I just felt really bad that, again, other people had gotten caught kind of in the crossfire. So I posted the original post, I think it was when they went to um, Louisiana, and I thought the show was like they had taken a break, and some people said the show was over or something. So then I posted it then just because like I thought like okay, if I'm gonna post something or let people know, then maybe this would be a better time so it won't impact other people as much. And again, that's why I was saying people were talking in the Discord about him around that time too, so that was also another reason.
Yeah, I mean, it does get easier to actually talk about these sorts of things when other people are talking about them as well. Because before then, you kind of feel like there's no point. Who's going to believe you anyway? Okay. So, let's see. Was there ever an NDA or a gag order involved or anything else that he used to try and keep you silent?
But a few people who were admins of the subreddit before he had control of it, they told me to prove, when I made the post, they said, oh, we need proof. You can't just post this kind of stuff. I sent everything to them and they said, yep, we believe you. Like, you're better responding to us than Ben was. And they basically told me that they had to sign an NDA. I'm not gonna go too much into detail, but they were all like youngish, so they were offered money in exchange of the subreddit. I know Ben says, like, do you have a receipt? Which is kind of a weird thing to respond because you don't deny it. You ask for proof. You don't
Right.
deny the actual
Well,
thing. I can't say this is 100%, but this is what multiple people who are admins told me,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know why they would lie about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know how much he paid? People are saying $5,000. Is that accurate, or to your knowledge?
I don't know. I know it was a lot of money for like a 19-year-old,
Right.
so I can't blame them for like taking it.
Yeah. Especially if they were afraid that Ben was gonna go after them in some other way legally or some shit. Um.
And that was something Ryby said to me as well, that I was hurting him like financially or something, which I thought was really strange because if somebody is accusing you of all these things that are quite horrible, wouldn't you say like, "Oh my God, why would a woman feel so uncomfortable with me?" Not like, "Oh, she's ruining me financially," which I thought that was really strange.
Yeah. Um. Okay. So. Um. Was there anything else involved in the fallout of that you wanted to get into, or was that pretty much it on that? Or,
It on the subreddit thing.
yeah.
There were people who contacted me, but they'll have to tell, their own stories. I'm not gonna
Right.
talk for them.
Right. Absolutely. And I know you've told me that you've talked to some other people, and I've talked to some other people, and hopefully more people, more of those people will come forward soon. Yeah. What were some of the big red flags that you now realize about Ben and would probably avoid for the future?
Uh, that he contacted me on the official Twitter and was like sending me so many messages and just like spilling his life drama story with me. Like I know some people are just they can't really read the room or something. I can't read the room sometimes,
Right.
but that's not a good thing if every woman you've ever been with just hates you so much and is
Yeah.
just so evil to you or something,
It's kind of a red
that's kind of a
flag.
problem. Yeah, that's a huge red flag. I mean, we called and we talked, like sometimes we would talk like a lot and then we would just talk like none. I just thought that was because of like the time zone differences, so I didn't really think that was that big of a deal then.
Right.
But now that I look at it, I guess it kind of is strange. Not, you know, yeah, I thought all those
Yeah.
things were like pretty off. The deflection, whenever I brought up any question, he sent me like screenshots of TJ like telling some woman she had nice tits or something. It didn't even have a date on it. It was just a screenshot, and I was like, I mean, at the time, I tried to be like understanding of him, but now that I look back, like I don't really understand how that has to do with what I'm asking you. But
Right.
he does that a lot. He even sent people to me recently, um, to tell me like, somebody I was friendly with, this person, um, a few years ago had came to me about Ben. They were very young at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and they were trying to like make an expose or something about him. And I got to know her very well, and everything was okay. But then now I guess she's talking to him still or something, whatever. But she sent me something like, "Oh, can you delete our messages? I don't want you to share them." And like I promised, like I um wouldn't share them. So of course, like I deleted them. But now I guess it was him just kind of like directing her to do
Is
this,
that the
and
girl that
like,
she's that he's still in contact with now?
yeah,
Okay. Um.
yeah, and
Hmm? Yeah.
yeah.
Keep going.
Oh no, this girl also like just gave me really particular information about Alicia or just other people that are involved in this. That okay, something she said was like, Ben helped Alicia with her rent. I guess maybe to sway my opinion, but I mean, I don't understand how that has to do with anything. And I think it's a red flag to keep using people to like just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
sorry, I'm awkward. I think it's a red flag, like using people to like influence other people.
yeah. It is. All right. Apparently, he didn't help her all that much with rent. Yeah, that's why I understand why Taylor in the last stream said that when Ben paid for her flight, she wanted to pay it all back, so she didn't owe him anything, because it's very
Yeah.
clear if you owe someone like this something, they're gonna bring it up and use it in some way or another to be like, oh
Exactly.
well, you know, see, like, because it's always more power that they have over you.
And I felt like that with like the restaurants and like you
Yeah.
said, it took me like some
Oh yeah,
$300 a person steakhouse or
yeah,
I got
that's
like ketchup on my fries. I was afraid to ask for ketchup for my fries. I felt so like awkward there, but then yeah, I just felt
really
like
weird.
indebted to him because of stuff like that.
Yeah, it's very clear that that's the way he wants you to feel. Like, oh, look how much money I have. Look how much money I'm spending on you. Look how great I'm treating you. You know, and then he can turn around and treat you like shit the other half the time. Or most of the time, I should say. Like, it seems like it was like the. Would you say that like him being like sweet to you, for lack of a better term, and like buying you shit and like spending a lot of money on you, would you say that was like the minority of the time you spent with him?
We did normal stuff around Seattle, so
Yeah,
we saw like sights and stuff. It felt okay. He seemed nice.
yeah,
And I guess that just kind of made up for the times that I just felt pretty violated, or I just felt kind of not really in control of everything. I was
right,
able to kind of like doubt myself because of the other times when he was nice.
right. Um, yeah. By the way, guys, the the fact that Ben is currently on Twitter just retweeting shit that TJ posted years ago about rape shows y'all that he's fucking sweating right now. All right, he has no defense. He's very clearly backed into a corner and gonna try like. I don't know, guy. Like it's not really that relevant to bring up because it's just kind of funny. You'd think he'd have like some kind of defense for this. Yeah, he's not said anything about his show or anywhere. He's not said anything about this on his show or anywhere publicly. He's just like it's really kind of sad the behavior that's going on right now. Okay. So 2 more questions. If someone is watching right now that's gone through the same thing, what would you want them to know?
He's not making
Hmm?
he's not making a mistake, you know. I think something like this happening once or maybe even twice is a mistake. But it's just so like planned, and it's not a mistake. It's all on purpose to make you doubt yourself. It's to make you feel crazy. I just want everybody to know, again, like I said, that book, Why Does He Do This by Lundy Bancroft, it's free. They do a PDF. They talk about like all these things like emotional abuse, psychological abuse, everything. And it's on purpose. It's definitely on purpose.
Right.
I understand. I don't really care if you people don't believe me. I know what happened. Ben knows what happened. And as long as like young women who he reaches on his platform are aware of this, then that's all I want, really.
Absolutely.
There are women who would be completely fine with a man having multiple girlfriends, and
Oh,
there are
sure.
women who are fine with sleeping with a married man. There are women like that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
I mean, that
you purposely went after people who weren't.
right. That's why I've said, like, I have no I don't even think it's the like, whatever, cheating isn't good. It's not a good thing, but like, I wouldn't even be doing this if it was just about Ben cheating. And if Ben was like, if Ben wanted to be poly, he could go, like, just be open about it and be like, yeah, you know, I fuck multiple women. That's who I am. You want to be a fuck boy, go be a fuck boy out in the open, but like, you're lying to all the women that you're screwing around with, and you're making them all feel special, making them all feel like they're the only one. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. That's not normal. That's not healthy. That's not okay. It's not okay on any level. And again, for the people out there who want to deflect and try to be like, oh, well, this isn't illegal or that's not illegal, it's not even about illegal anymore. It's, which I do believe, again, there's some illegal actions here. But again, aside from the fact that rape cases are very rarely taken fucking seriously, there's also the fact that even if regardless of going to the police, it's just about the fact that people need to know. People need to know about this behavior before they get involved with Ben. It needs to be out in the open. It's very clear that he's used his platform to bury this dissent and not allow it to be talked about. And even if he never faces fucking legal action for this, even if he never, you know, people just gotta know. People gotta know, so that they can make the decisions for themselves. Like you said, you weren't even necessarily trying to get Ben in trouble or anything. You just wanted people to know. You wanted the women in his community to know who they were possibly getting involved with, and that makes perfect sense. That's why we're doing this right now.
I've never used the word rape for my experiences with him, but
Right.
I mean, I don't feel it was like it wasn't 100% consensual if this man is just plying you with drugs and alcohol, and he's barely
Absolutely.
even like drinking or something, or you know what I mean, and then you
Yeah.
can barely even remember what happened, or he's just, you're not at the same level, you know, that's not okay.
No, the fact that he got you to a state of blacking out multiple times and probably had sex with you multiple times while you were blacked out, at least you know he did the first time. I mean, it's fucked up. It's not okay. It's some seriously uncool behavior at the very least. I think it's illegal, but you know, people can make their interpretations, and it just it's at the very least uncool, and should be known that this is the type of guy Ben is. If you go near Ben, you're probably gonna experience something like this. So that at the very least, the only women who go through this are in the future are women who are like, oh yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. In fact, that's what I want, you know. But that no one should get into a situation like this without being warned or prepared on some level. Hey, Annie, don't pretend that that was your prediction. That was my prediction, all right? Okay. Sorry, talking to the chat. All right. One more question. Is there anything else that you think should be known about Ben, especially for people considering being in any kind of a relationship with him, whether it's romantic or otherwise? Hmm?
I mean, I feel like I've said it. I feel like his deflection tactic now is just like, oh, I was just a rock star and just juggled a bunch of women, just whatever. Like I said, it's far worse than that.
Absolutely.
Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to make a statement about somebody's mental state, but
Sure.
there's he has something wrong with his personality, like something very wrong. So I just want people to know that yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Amina, for coming on. Was there anything else that we missed, or anything else that you wanted to touch on before we wrap this up?
I just want to thank everybody for just bringing light to this issue and taking it seriously. Thank you, Jamie, Chess, and Taylor, and everybody else. I just really appreciate it. It really just makes me feel like I'm not alone in what happened.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you're that you finally don't feel alone in this. I understand what you've gone through and how fucking hard it can be to deal with that kind of emotional abuse, and the fact that you were abused as a child, and you've clearly experienced this pattern of shit. And so I commend you, and I think you're extremely brave for coming on, and I just want to thank you so much for having the courage to step up and do this, and not let these tactics to scare you keep you silent. You've done an amazing job here, and I think if you want me to let you go, I'm probably going to well, actually, you know what? I'll just here. I got a I don't know if you want to go. I might go for another like 10 minutes here to wrap things up.
You don't have anything else to ask me, right?
No.
Okay, yeah, thank you again. I really appreciate it.
All right. Yes. Thank you so much as well, and I'll talk to you soon. I please take care of yourself tonight, and if you need to talk again, I'm here. There's other people here, and we're here for you.
Thank you.
100%. All right. So I guess that's all right. All right. Yeah, she's gone. Okay. Yes. Thank you everyone in the chat for your support and your positivity. Again, it's very hard to come forward with a story like this, and Amina should be commended. Taylor should be commended as well. Here, I don't remember if I said earlier, but I turned off super chats on the screen just because I didn't want us to be interrupted, so I could save it for the end. But we had here. How do I? Oh, I can put this back. I'll just replay it here. There you go.
I've been a patron of DP for a while, and since Taylor's story I can't support the show anymore. I cancelled it today. I'm sad this is how it is, but thank you for bringing it to my attention. It's very disappointment.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you so much for your support. Yeah, it's kind of sad to see this stuff coming out. I never wanted to see this stuff about my favorite podcast. I never wanted to find out this stuff. It's not fun. But this shit's going on, and it's got to be talked about. And it like I said, Ben has been sweeping this under the rug for a long fucking time. He didn't allow Amina to speak on it. There's been other people. He bought a fucking subreddit to keep people from speaking about it. And this is I'm really glad this is coming to light now. And I just want to say thank you to everyone in the chat for your support. Thank you to anyone who's come out with information. And remember, anyone else who's out there who has gone through something like this, even if you weren't a romantic partner of Ben, honestly, even if there's some kind of other shit, if anyone wants to come on and you know, tell their story about Ben, you know, any kind of like abusive behavior, any manipulation, any of that bullshit, feel free to come on and talk about it. Hit me up in my DMs. My Twitter DMs are open. My Discord is open. People can join. People can contact me there. And yeah, just anyone else who's a victim of Ben, I just want y'all to remember that this is a safe place to come on and tell your story. You're going to be accepted. You're going to, you know, the chat has been very positive, very, you know, welcoming and respectful and all of that. And it's been great to see all the positivity. And so if anyone out there is worried about, you know, if they come forward, you know, what they have to expect. I'm not going to say that no one's going to treat you negatively online, but there's a community here of people that are willing to listen and be understanding. And a lot of people here are we're here for you. You don't have to go through this alone. I understand that a lot of you have gone through this alone and have had to live with the fallout of this relationship with this terrible narcissistic individual. His reign of terror is over. It really fucking is. Look at him. He's fucking scared. He's fucking scared right now. Stopped streaming on DP for a week. And is posting random bullshit on Twitter. Now just his only fucking deflection is just posting shit that TJ said years ago about rape. Like, first of all, I love how what do TJ's takes from 2016 have to do with anything? And is that really all you've got? Is that really all you got, Ben, to deflect? Yeah, look at all this. It's just look at TJ tweeting in 2016 about false accusations. Like, what, is TJ's word the gospel or some shit? Is everything TJ ever said fucking correct and true? TJ's actually gone after a lot of his old takes and explained why some of them were really misguided. So and even if he does stand by everything he said then, it's still irrelevant for, again, multiple reasons. One, because TJ's word is not the gospel, and another because I still don't agree with that shit. I mean, look, yeah, not every accusation is true, and you shouldn't just take everyone's word, but I think it's kind of weird when there's multiple, not just one, multiple women coming forward and telling very similar stories about fucked up situations they've experienced with all with the same guy. You know, at what point is it no longer just a single accusation, one person's story, his word against hers, and at what point is it, hey, where there's smoke, there's fire? There's enough fucking people that are coming out about this. There's enough fucking people that are that are coming forth, telling their own stories, their own experiences. I don't think we should just listen to every accusation without scrutiny, but I think we should listen to every accusation. Listen to them, right? Not just believe automatically, but listen. Actually listen. Try to empathize. Try to put yourself in the person's shoes. Try to understand where they're coming from and what their experiences are. And again, you know, when there's multiple people coming forward with a similar story, how are you going to just deflect and say, like, oh, well, all these people hate me? At what point does it sound ridiculous that all these people just fucking despise you so much that they want to ruin you in this very serious way and make these very serious accusations? You really think you're that important, Ben? You think you're that goddamn important that just because a few people don't like you, they're gonna put their fucking their entire reputation on the line, trying to discredit someone they just dislike? Every single person is out to get you. Doesn't make a lot of fucking sense. And again, for those of y'all that heard these 2 interviews and still don't know what to think, you still haven't made up your mind, that's fine. I ask you to keep listening, because this is not the last interview, and there are more people that are gonna speak. I don't know when. We might not do another interview per se next week. I don't know. I will do something next week. All right, I will do something. But yeah, this isn't over. And so even if you're like, oh, well, 2 stories doesn't necessarily prove it. Well, I mean, well, it's already more than 2, because Alicia made her at least certain parts of her story public. There's a lot more that she hasn't made public yet. And there's others. There's others I've talked to. There's others I've heard about. And this shit ain't going away. This shit ain't going away until it's all been fucking dealt with, all been put out in the open. Oh yeah, we're not exactly. We're trying not to rush it, but we also don't want to. We're not gonna do anything to lose momentum either. No. Now I know some people have said that I didn't handle my first stream about this as well as I could have, and I'll hear some of those criticisms. But at the end of the day, this is something that I felt needed to be talked about, and I still feel needs to be talked about. I'm not a very big content creator. I don't have a very big audience, but I'm well known enough, or I'm at least known enough in the community that if I can talk about something, that if I talk about this stuff, people will actually, you know, listen. People will see it. At least some people will see it. And my hope is that this can get to the point where bigger and bigger people talk about this and see it. I don't want to be the one to break this story. I never did. I don't want this to be my responsibility. But at the same time, I kind of feel like it is, at least for the time being. I'm the only one and I'm not trying to like toot my own horn here or anything, because I don't even think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a positive thing, but I'm the only one who's not been afraid of Ben and been okay with just stating my opinions. I'd like there to be more. I'd like more people to realize that Ben doesn't kind of have the kind of reach and control that he either used to, or that people think he has. Egghead, I don't give a fucking shit about you. Alright? The minute I saw that you blocked me again after we had a fucking productive conversation and I thought we were cool, I'm not interested in you. Unless you want to come forward and tell me anything, you can you can retreat back up Ben's anus, alright? I don't give a fuck. Yep, there's nowhere for Ben to hide but in the alt-right. Oh, I said that the other day. I fully predict that if Ben does survive these accusations coming out, he's going to take a hard turn to the right. He's going to become like an alt-right streamer. He might even retreat to like BitChute or some shit. Or one of those other fucking alt-right sites. He's at least gonna take a soft turn towards the center at first. But I do feel like the more this shit comes out, the only people, the only people that are gonna give Ben the time of day are dishonest, bad faith, right wing reactionary dipshits. So yeah, it's my prediction anyway. I've seen a few other people say that as well. He's already pretty centrist. Yeah, I don't pay close attention to his politics. I've only seen like a couple streams that Vosh has been on in the last year or two, and he seems to at least, I don't know, performatively act like a leftist. He's gonna start a podcast with JF. Yeah, that would be a pretty interesting match. Yeah. Holy fuck. Well, yeah, guys, that's I feel like that's a stream. Feel like that's a fucking stream, y'all. I hope I've addressed everything that needs to be addressed here. Wait. Wait, are you misgendering me, Egghead? That's not really a... Egghead, I just want to know. Okay, you know what? I'm going to address you in good faith, dude. Colton, are you currently defending Ben or not? Are you currently defending Ben's actions or not? All right? That's all I care about. That's all I care about you, dude. I don't care whether or not your life is ran by Ben. I care whether or not you are continuing to defend and deflect for this disgusting fucking behavior, Colton. That's what I fucking care about. I don't care about anything else. All right, are these fake eggheads? Oh, I'm moving on. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Egghead is not my concern. All right, he's not my concern. I tried to be nice to him. But whatever. It's not important. All right. False egg. Yeah, just ban it. I don't give a fuck. Hell yeah. Again, that's been a stream, guys. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for hanging out. Thank you for the support, the positivity. Thank you for listening to Amina's story. Thank you for those of you who acted in good faith and, asked good faith questions and weren't assholes. I really appreciate that. If you want to continue to act in good faith, feel free. The comments will be open. Feel free to, did we hit 600 subs? Dope. Fuck yeah. 600 subs. Fuck yeah. Thank you. Thank you for everyone who subscribed. I really appreciate that. Like I said, I've not been asking for people to subscribe. I've not been asking for donations throughout this because that's not the intention of me doing this. But I really do appreciate those of you who do support. And like I said, for those of you who want to subscribe for the time being to pay attention to this Ben drama, feel free. But as I said before, once this is over, I'm probably not going to be talking about this much anymore. So if you're just here for the drama, then feel free to subscribe temporarily and then unsubscribe if you don't like my other content. Because this is not going to be a drama channel. This is not going to be a Ben channel. I'm still going to do my own shit that I do regularly. And we'll see you back here soon. Don't know when. I'm probably going to take tomorrow off. But hey, we'll see y'all on Friday for Underhaven. It's going to be a dope show. Check out my podcast with Annie. We both we do a lot of cool shit over there. It's a really good, fun podcast, yo. It really is. Like I hate like trying to promote my own podcast or speak positively of it, but it's a lot of fucking fun. Y'all just got to check it out. Especially if y'all enjoyed the vibes of like older DP, you know, before it got kind of cringe. But we don't just do DP type content. We do all types of content over there, and we have a lot of fun in general. So yeah, check that shit out. Yeah, Annie's unbiased. It's fun. Trust them. But fuck yeah. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for the support. Thank y'all who donated and whatnot. We'll see y'all next time. Peace out. Have a wonderful evening. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. And stay positive. All right. It can be hard sometimes, but try not to let the negativity get to you. There's always reasons to be positive, and so yeah, I love y'all. Have a great night.